I'll get those posted today. All right, am I good in view? How about take you to mute? Okay, so like I said, we are going to work on ankles today. Let me just take this down a notch. All right. So ankles are an interesting part of your body because they are what make contact with the floor, and they plantar flex and dorsiflex, so point or flex, to keep you stable. And we also look at how the arches are engaging and how the ankle bones are lining up to make sure that your posture and your body is sitting directly above your ankle bones. That can change because of a rotation. So maybe if your body is twisting, then all of a sudden the force of gravity is pushing down on the inside of that arch, which makes it more difficult to stay in good alignment. Maybe when you're walking, your foot turns out or everts like this, and that makes it so when you're walking, you're not getting heel ball toe, or when you're running, ball toe off, not heel strike. All of those things can change how your ankles and arches are aligned. So today we'll do some work through our whole body, but with emphasis right on feet and ankles to line those up and make sure that we are standing on top of them, that you have good intrinsic foot muscles working, and that it's all stable. So stand with your feet pointed straight ahead. Show up right here in this moment in your body. Take a deep breath. Expand your rib cage. Feel the breath move in and out of your body. Use the breath to show up right here, right now. And then I'm going to have you start lying down on your back with your legs up over your block. And make sure that you have your strap close to you. So this position on the ground lets your body begin to have thoracic extension, takes your hips into neutral or slightly posterior, which changes what happens all the way up your spine. Arms out to the side, full deep breaths, and then circle. Let's go left foot first just to change it up today. Left foot all the way around. Oh, I'm gonna get a kitty. Hi, Washi. Thinking of a clock, hitting all the numbers around the clock with your toes. And reverse the direction. And point and flex. And as you point and flex, it's like we're working our foot strike all the way pointed, all the way flexed. As you go into that point, you fire the muscles up the back side of your body. As you go into this flex, you fire the muscles up the front side. So you may feel your hip engaged, definitely your shin, your anterior tibialis muscle. And everything else just gets to let gravity press down, open the space. and then switch legs. 20 circles one way, reverse your direction. And then point and flex. And then go ahead and put your hands right on your belly and take a deep breath in your belly. Let your belly rise. Exhale all the air out. And then squeeze your abdominal muscles. Tighten your belly muscles and release. Let's do 10 of those. Inhale, belly rise. Exhale, squeeze. So we're using the abdominals to help take out any rotation that might be in your pelvis. Your pelvis is being held by the floor so it can't move. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Tighten, release. In, out, squeeze, release. In, out, tighten, release. Keep going. In, out, squeeze those belly muscles, release. One more. We might even be having an effect all the way up into the shoulders or the rib cage, whatever might have a little bit of a twist in it. Last one. Excellent. Go ahead and push your chair or your block away. Grab onto your strap. And then hook it around your right foot. And line up your ankle, your knee, and your hip and keep it low. So keep the strap at the ball of your foot and just pull that down. We're working one side differently than the other right now, kind of pulling on that whole line of muscles and fascia down your whole back, pulling your ankle into more dorsiflexion. Just holding this position might make this lateral hip start to talk to you. Some people might feel that. And then move the strap to your heel. Tighten your thigh all the way. So squeeze the muscles around your knee, lifting your kneecap, and then pull that leg up. Shoulders go down and back, away from your ears as you pull that leg up. Go back to your breathing. Full breath in through your nose, exhaling it out. Bringing the breath once again deeper into your belly. and switch your legs. Bringing it to the ball of your foot again. Other leg bent, foot on the floor, and then keep it low. Pulling it from the calf into that dorsiflexed position, ankle flexing. Shoulders down and back away from your ears and breathing into your belly. Let's do 5 breaths in each of these positions. We'll use our breath kind of as a timer. And then pull that leg up. Moving the strap more towards your heel and then pressing your knee all the way straight. Shoulders once again kind of pulled down and back with that strap. 5 breaths. Excellent. Release out of that. And just set your strap to the side. So now let's go into something that would address hip disparity. We're going to do a whole bunch of moves because I said that part of what could happen to your ankles is this: if your pelvis was out of alignment forward or backward or rotated, and the force of gravity would push down into a different spot. So take both legs out straight on the floor. We'll go right into a cross crawl. So opposite arm, opposite leg. Let's do a couple this way, holding like as if your hand and your knee were connected by a string, and the thumb and the pinky finger get to touch above your head, and then set them both down, and then switch sides. All the way up and all the way down. All the way up and down and up and down. Couple more like that. And now let's switch at the top. Bring that leg up. So switching arms and legs at the top, that's going to be a little more for your abdominals. Again, your pelvis is just held by the floor. Your shoulder girdle also kind of held by the floor. Keep going. Switch. Switch. Let's do 10 of these. Nice. Continue to stick with hip disparity. So if you have rotation in your lumbar spine or hip disparity there, we're going to go right into a crocodile. And arms out to the side, straight out from your shoulders. Put your left heel on top of your right toes, and then rotate your hips up and over. Look to the left, tighten your thighs, pull your toes back, and breathe. Let's hold this again for 5 breaths. We'll use our breath as our timer. Deep breath in, fully out. Big and slow, squeezing the air out. Inhale fully. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Release. And switch sides. Right heel, left toes, up and over, to the left, look to the right, arms straight out from your shoulders, pressing down into the floor, letting the scapula stabilizers show up. This is gonna be a lot for the obliques. So obliques are rotators of the body as well as some of the muscles in your back. Hold it there, pull your toes back, thighs tight, big breaths. 1, fully in, big, fully out. 2, in, fully out. 2 more. And untwist. Put the bottom of your feet together, or bottom of your feet in, feet on the floor, and pelvic tilts. Rock it back and forward. 1 vertebra at a time, going under, and like you're on a train track, your sacrum just being able to move forward, back, and forth. So we've been talking about the ankles. Now in this position, when your feet are on the floor, you're actually in a bit of plantar flexion. So the calf is a little bit contracted and your feet are at a bigger angle here than they normally would be when you're standing. So we're gonna go back into some ankle work. Go ahead and grab your block and your strap so that you have them close. And just place your block between your knees. Give me 20 squeezes with the block at the knees. Squeeze, hold, find the muscles on the inside of your legs. Sometimes we use squeezes like this to balance a hip disparity, like difference between the two sides in the length or tension of your psoas. We can use squeezes to reposition the hip in the hip socket. Now keep a gentle squeeze once you get to 20 in on that block, and then lift your heels off the floor. So deeper plantar flexion. I want you to fire the muscles that are going up the calf and just feel, are they different between one side and the other? Does one activate better or slide and glide over that ankle more easily? Maybe some of the proneal muscles out here on the side are having a harder time contracting. Just keep that squeeze in on that block. Lift your heels off the floor onto your toes. I'm going to double check that my torso is straight and my shoulders are in good alignment. And then heels on the ground, lift your toes up. Keeping that little squeeze between your knees. Triggering the muscles that come up into the hip that would lead hip flexion. When you've done 20, go ahead and switch so that the strap is around your knees. We're going to do the same sequence. So make that strap so that it's fist width apart. Feet on the floor. Again, feet down like this. The ankles are a bit in plantar flexion. Hopefully your pelvis is in neutral. Arms out to the side. Relaxing your shoulders. Relax your upper back completely. And then 20 presses out against the strap. Press, find that lateral hip, and release. Press, release. I'm on 15, about 5 more. Press, hold, release. Once again, your pelvis is being held by the floor. Your upper back is in mild thoracic extension, being here in this position on the floor. Your shoulders and pecs should be able to relax. And this work that we're doing at your pelvis should let the muscles that hold your posture in a correct position start to engage naturally on their own just by virtue of changing the position. Good. Now keep a pressure out on that strap and then go up onto your toes. Once again, 20 times. And then backwards, toes up. Pulling out against that strap. You may notice the front of your hip doing something. Maybe that lateral hip where you have muscles working on the outside. And 20. Excellent. Go ahead and remove that strap. And then cross the left ankle over the right knee and bring it all the way down to the right side on the floor, palms down. Look to your left and press your left knee away from you
opening up that hip. We're still working on hip disparity, making sure that all of that is evening out so that when you stand up, and we do work that way, that you're on top of your ankles without one side of your pelvis doing something different than the other, so that the ankle bones can then do what they're supposed to do, the arches of your feet can do what they're supposed to do. Three more breaths, fully in. Exhale completely. One more. Bring your legs up, switching sides, crossing the right ankle over the left knee all the way down on the floor. Palms down, shoulder blade stabilizers working as you press that knee away from you, open that hip. Once again, 5 breaths, fully in, fully out. Come on up onto your hands and knees. Around and arch your back. Cats and dogs. All the way up and all the way down. Okay, we've already been working on your whole body as a unit, but let's keep going. Come all the way down. Stretch your arms up over your head, let your toes pigeon toe. Thumbs up toward the ceiling. You can go hands in fists or hands in the golfer's grip. Forehead resting on the floor, and then rotate the upper arm bone outward. Hold it and breathe. This floor block position lines up shoulders and hips. Lets the legs just rotate like they're supposed to in the hip sockets. Go ahead and move your arms out to a Y shape and do the same thing, rotating your upper arm bones outward. Breathe. 5 breaths. See if you can bring the breath into your back body. And straight out from your shoulders. Same thing. and release.
Now, bring your elbows underneath you. We're going to work some of the extensors. If this is too much for some of your back, please listen to your body and just take a forehead resting on the floor. For the rest of you, hands up, relax your shoulders, pull your forearms away from each other, and then bring your legs up, knees out, bottom of your feet together. Then, keeping your forearms pulled away from each other, fire up the glutes by pressing the bottom of your feet together. Press and release. Press and release. Relax your shoulders, but pull your forearms away from each other. And you'll feel it in your middle back. Maybe in your hips. Once again, relax your shoulders, pull your forearms away from each other. Keep pressing and releasing. Let's do 10 more. Bottom of your feet press together, release. Press, release. And come on out of it. Back up onto your hands and knees. Hand, leg, opposite lifts. Take it up and hold. About 10 seconds. And then switch sides. And switch. 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 And switch. Then come down onto your side for an upper spinal floor twist. Knees stacking. Feet flex a little bit, so you're at 90, 90, 90. And then open up that upper back. We'll use 5 breaths as our timer again, keeping your knees and hips stacked, one right on top of the other. Big full breaths. One more. Untwist. Other side.
5 breaths. Untwist. Come up to seated. Sitting with your legs out straight so that they're a little bit wider than hip width apart. And flex your feet back from your hip. Move your legs out and in. All the way out and in. Go wider, same thing. Flex your feet, tighten your thighs, out and in. Wider once more. Keep those thighs tight. Make that rotation happen at the hip. Awesome. Back onto your back. Grab your block one more time. Holding onto your block. Place your hands behind your head. Pelvis on the floor. You're going to lift your feet just a little bit off the floor, squeezing in on that block, and then crunch straight up to the sky, looking back. So keeping your head and your arms back, lift, and lower. We're going to use our abdominals, but not in a big curl. Just use them to lift. So hip flexor, and then abdominals, and release them both down. Let's do 20 of those. And take a little rest and do another set of 20. Lift and lower. And then one more set of squeezes, 20 squeezes in on your block, letting everything in your upper body just relax. Squeeze, release. Take your block away, find your butt muscles, squeeze and release your glutes. Tighten your butt muscles, release, tighten your butt muscles, release. 20 times. Relax your belly as you do this. So don't alter the position of your pelvis while you find these muscles. Relax your belly, squeeze your glutes. Keep going. Relax your upper body. And then onto your hands and knees. Press yourself up into a downward facing dog pose. Knees back slightly behind your hips, tuck your toes under, press it up and back. If you need to keep your knees bent to get your back straighter, please do so. If your back can be fairly straight, then go ahead and press your knees towards straight. Hold and breathe. Come on down. Well, let's go into an assisted runner stretch. Use your block or your chair. 1 foot forward, right foot forward, left foot back. Tuck your toes under like you're standing on the balance beam. And then try to put an arch into your low back. So rolling your pelvis forward, the pelvis moves over the top of the thigh bone. So that's hip flexion. Now that back ankle is doing something different than the front ankle here because it's in greater flexion, dorsiflexion, than the front ankle in plantar flexion. So hip flexion, we're moving in toward lumbar extension a little bit. You might feel a pull on your hamstrings and that front leg. Keep that front leg straight. Again, this menu is really about ankles. So what's happening on the back ankle versus the front ankle in relationship to the whole line of muscles up your body. Switch sides. Good. Tuck your toes.
Try to roll your pelvis forward again over the top of those thigh bones. Make sure you're square, so 50-50 weight between your feet. And then come on out of it. And standing foot circles, point flexes. So find your balance. Hold one leg up, pull it all the way up, and circle all the way around. Reverse. And point and flex. And switch sides. Woo. Reverse. Point and flex. Okay, feet pointed straight ahead. Line up those ankles, up on your toes 10 times. Take your feet out and up also 10 times. And pigeon toe. do that one more time, back to straight. Relax your shoulders, relax everything, relax your belly. Up 10 times. Then out. And pigeon toe. Weight on the inside of your feet. Relax your belly one more time. Last one's back to straight. We'll end with them straight. All those intrinsic foot muscles, hopefully they're working. That makes the muscles all the way up the line of your body into your hip fire up. Awesome. Okay. Find whatever position is most comfortable for you into static back or legs up over your block. And as you settle in today, I just want to bring in that concept of self-love. And I want you to recognize when you do the opposite. So let's say you have a conflict or you do something that you think is silly or that you shouldn't have done, and you begin to berate yourself. How does that work for you? Does it lead to positive places, or does that create a cascade of, we know, hormones and negative thoughts and things like that? So today, as you move through your life, I want you just to notice what happens in your mind when something goes a little bit awry, and how can you meet that with a loving compassion for yourself? And just say, of course you did. Oh, that trait is challenging. It's possible you have to live with that trait for the rest of your life, whether that's inherited or whether that is chosen somehow. So how do you breathe into the energy that could go in a habitual negative pattern and instead bring in some loving, compassionate energy for yourself? So as you take this moment of going into the silence, into the present moment of your breath, fill that space with unconditional love. knowing that all of us are working with these parts, and being kind to ourselves is one of the ways that we can recognize how we can show up in kindness toward others. We're all working on it. Let's make this world a better place.